Wow. Breaking news. Nuno Espirito Santo has been sacked by Spurs. It's come out this morning, Monday morning. Crisis talks yesterday came out in the press. It was all over Twitter, but they've actually gone and done it. They've sacked him this quickly. I'm absolutely amazed. Before I dive into this video, if you're new to the channel and if by the end of it you do enjoy it, please do consider subscribing. And Spurs fans, get involved in the comments. Talk to me. Because are you excited by this or are you disappointed by this? That's the thing that I kind of want to look into myself at this moment. Because, and I'm part of it, by the way, there's just so much talk about managers being sacked. And I'm trying to figure out if this is something that I'm kind of analysing because I am analysing football each week. Or is it because this is the period of the season where managers go? You're caught in this weird spot as a manager at this stage of the season if you're not doing well, where the road ahead feels so long and not even treacherous, but it feels just such a chore to kind of get to the end of it. And ultimately it's a moment where you go, I feel like we've got enough road behind us to understand that this isn't working and now's the time to do it. But at the same time, nothing has been discovered or uncovered in terms of the final, aims and ambitions of the season and if you're going to achieve those or not. So it's a real kind of gut call, subjective call when you look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who we've been speaking about, or even Nuno Espirito Santo, who myself and Flav, who's a big Spurs fan, he's got a massive Spurs podcast called The Fighting Cock. Go check out his podcast because they'll, of course, be reacting to it, and we'll get his reaction later on the week on the Jaffin podcast. We said he's a dead man walking because it looked so bad for him. But at the same time, it comes down to the owners, and if they either have the ambition or they're willing to be as cutthroat as Daniel Levy and Paratici have been in this moment. But maybe there's something deeper than that. Let's have a look at the club announcement first of all. The club can today announce that Nuno Espirito Santo and his coaching staff, Ian Cathro, Rui Barbosa and Antonio Diaz, have been relieved of their duties. And Fabio Paratici, managing director of football, said, I know how much Nuno and his coaching staff wanted to succeed, and I regret that we have had to take this decision. Nuno is a true gentleman and will always be welcome here. We should like to thank him and his coaching staff and wish them well for the future. A further coaching update will follow in due course. And that's the line that's really, really interesting to dive into. But we've got to deal with the fallout. And the fallout will be back. Don't worry. I think we're going to put it out tomorrow. I was literally just about to record it and then this news drops. But that final line of a further coaching update will follow in due course could be a big, big part in this. Thank you so much to Pearl Jam Ryan, who sent me this literally minutes ago. Antonio Conte. Let me show you. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Antonio Conte is expected in London soon to complete talks on final details with Tottenham. Deal at the final stages for new Spurs manager after Nuno out. Antonio is more than tempted to accept the Tottenham job. He already worked with Paratici at Juventus years ago. Now, as much of a bombshell as Nuno leaving so soon after obviously only 10 games of the season, 17 games in total of his reign. And this is a manager, by the way, who Flav was like, I want Nuno. He'd wanted Nuno for years. Of course, it not fell off a cliff, but it calmed down a little bit with Wolves. And so he wasn't as sure by that moment. But it does show you how hard it is to be a successful manager in modern football. The interesting thing with that tweet from Fabrizio there, Antonio is more than tempted to accept the Tottenham job. And when I read that article, I think of two things. First of all, he has already worked with Paratici. But secondly, if you think of the jobs available out there, does he want to live in Manchester, or did he have a good experience in terms of the living situation of living in Chelsea and he wants to live in London again? Because I wonder if that would play a part in him taking that Tottenham job. Because really, yes, look, the stadium is gorgeous, but the squad needs a lot of help. And one, maybe he believes in Paratici and the combination of the two, the relationship that they've had, and that they can go and succeed again. But really, you would wait for that Man United job if you really thought it was available to you. But maybe they've gone. And I think this is why that Nuno has gone now. Because that's maybe the difference. Whereas with Manchester United, they're not completely sure about Antonio Conte and him working at Manchester United right now. Whereas at Spurs, I think they knew that Nuno wasn't going to be the guy. That's why we said he was a dead man walking a couple of weeks ago. And they were looking to see who was available. And they've now, with the problems that Man United have had, they've gone, we better go and get Conte now if we can go and make it happen. And quite possibly it could be happening, which comes back to that point of, is this an exciting moment for Spurs fans? Which is odd, right? You normally, after such a horrific defeat against Man United, for them to sort of feel excited, for Spurs fans to feel excited about this is absolutely crazy. Let's touch on Nuno's time at Spurs, because I think the big problem here, well, there's a few new elements here that's really interesting. First of all, the kind of introduction or the reintroduction of fans to the stadium. And I feel like I've seen this sort of connection and interaction between the fans and the players back to the fans as well. You know, covering the EFL, I don't think I've ever seen more players going up to the fans and giving it large. There's a real conversation going on between the pitch and the fans right now, because I think we've been starved of it. And what happens when you see that reaction is, I think the reaction is more has more impact, and the booing and the you don't know what you're doing chants, all those bits and pieces, I think made it a lot easier for Daniel Levy to make this call, because I think there was a feeling there that, I think I'm not enjoying this in terms of, you know, results on the pitch, performances on the pitch, which we'll dive into in a second. But really, the eye test of the fans, for someone who's clearly such a gentleman and clearly someone who holds themselves with integrity, positivity and optimism, it wasn't enough. You know, those lovely characteristics of a human weren't enough for fans not to turn on him incredibly quickly. There's another question for you though as well. Are we becoming desensitized to the, right, okay, he's not good enough, bosh, get him out? Or with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Nuno, are these two examples that are different and specific? Or I think another layer to this might be the fact that you've got Klopp and you've got Guardiola, and the standards are so high that the sort of new norm for how good a coach has got to be has gone to a new level. And we're kind of, as a football community, I think the world is figuring out kind of what is necessary to get yourself to a point. And when it comes to what is necessary for fans, because it's nice to see that they still have some form of power in all of this, I think energy is so important. Of course, there's a results bias, there always is, but I really do believe that you need to show hard work and energy in modern football. You have to see that, because being this sort of stoic in terms of the style of play, it's not going to work. It's not, and it becomes unveiled very quickly, which I'll show you right now. Because if we're on the analyst here, I think I spoke to you guys about this last week, actually. The Analyst is a great website that looks at XG and different bits and pieces on all three leagues, actually loads of different leagues. So go check them out. Really, really cool. And I showed this on Jaffin the other day, and it's really there for all to see. If we have a look at the league table here, what you can see is both kind of with the ball in terms of expected goals for. Sorry, let's start there. What you want to see for Spurs is that they're moving in the right direction. But I think it's how you play as much as the results that you get, because we were all going, Nuno probably needs to start well here. And he did. You know, he won those first 3 games, but it's how they've been playing has been revealed as the games have gone on. And it's pretty ugly. This is the other thing, is that we can all find this data on your team now. So there is the eye test, but it's being backed up by so much more now. This is the league table. At the moment, you see Spurs in 8th position, which I think, say they've gone and scored loads of goals and been exciting to watch, I think Spurs fans would have been okay with this a little bit more, because you feel like you're going in the right direction. Under Nuno, it's just been so turgid. And that's the thing. I just find it so fascinating, the mix between what you achieve and how you play. Ideally, you want both, but I think more and more football fans are smarter, and they're going, no, how you play does really, really matter. You know, just playing ugly football and winning games, it really isn't enough anymore. And that actually quite excites me, Because I think, look, I'm going to talk about Man United later in the week, and I was going to talk about it in the fallout that was going to come out today, but it'll come out tomorrow. How you win is important. It really, really is important. Let's come back to this because, look, 8th in the division, which doesn't look too bad, does it? But then if we look at open play, and I think open play is important because when it comes to open play, that means how well you're building up, how well you're being coached, how well you're able to break down the opposition. Let's have a look at shots. Second bottom, and let's remember, Norwich City, who have 2 points this season, both come from 0-0 draws, they are 1 shot away. So that's one stage of it. Look, shots is one thing, the quality of those shots is another, so let's have a look at the XG. 4th bottom for that. So again, the shoots of hope that you want from your new manager, and you're hoping that, yes, he carries himself brilliantly, but does he improve the players and improve the team? It's not there, is it? And then goals as well. Where are they for that? Even a little bit higher with that. So they've got 6 goals out of it. Of course, that comes from doing okay when it comes to set pieces. They're about mid-table for that. But again, they're not in that 8th position that we're talking about. So you then come back to think, okay, let's give Nuno a chance here. Defensively, are they brilliant? No. Again, here they are in 8th position when it comes to expected goals against in open play. Let's have a look. Their XG. So this is high. This is the 4th worst. Let's do it in terms of low XG, which is what you'd much prefer, right? So look, there they are once again, down the bottom. So the victories that they've been getting so far have been fortunate somewhat. I go back to the game against his old team, Wolves. It was a fortunate victory. It was a really, really fortunate victory. And the defeats against Crystal Palace, the defeat at the weekend, it was really, really terrible. And I think you look at Man United and losing a game to Man United, and normally you would go, well, look, it's Man United, come on. But they were there for the taking. Yes, you expect a reaction from Man United, and you got it, and they deserve credit for that. But for Nuno to put out a side there, and I think Højbjerg's post-match interview, I think, said a lot, because he said, I need to stop talking, because he was so angry at how the team is playing. This team has gone so far backwards from Pochettino, and it's not just from results, it's from how they're playing, because the conversation between the fans and the club, coming back to that, it's strong. It's really strong right now, and it's strong on a Saturday afternoon or whenever you're playing. So you've got to show energy, vigour, ambition, and that is why Nuno has lost his job. They've shown none of that, and normally, I don't know, maybe I'm getting older, maybe I'm getting cynical, and I normally want to go, nah, come on, give him a chance. But it didn't look like it was getting any better. I mean, could you have given him a warning? And could he have gone up a level in terms of, showing that kind of energy or getting the team to play that way? I don't think that's how he has found success over the last couple of years with Wolves. And so it was a nice idea, but it's clearly not worked. And in terms of the hierarchy of Spurs, I think this shows their ambition if they can go and get Antonio Conte. If not, and this is someone who turned down Spurs, of course, and there was a 72-day search for a new manager after Mourinho was sacked, this puts them in a really strange position. And I guess then the next talking point is, if it's not Antonio Conte, who will it be? That's maybe a discussion for another time. But let me know in the comments below, Spurs fans, okay with Nuno going? And also, who do you want as the manager if Antonio Conte doesn't take the job? Interesting times for Spurs fans. Exciting times for Spurs fans? Let me know as well down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Wow.